My beloved child. Stop scrolling for a moment. Do not rush past these words. There is a reason your eyes landed here at this exact moment. There is a reason your heart suddenly feels a little heavier, a little more awake, as if something invisible has been trying to reach you from beyond the noise of your ordinary day. What you are about to hear was not meant to frighten you. It was meant to awaken you. Because somewhere, at this very moment, a heart is calling your name. Not with words. Not with messages. Not through a phone screen or a conversation. But through something deeper. Something that existed before either of you understood what love truly was. Your soulmate's heart is calling you right now. And what heaven wants you to understand is that this call did not begin today. It began long before this moment. Long before the silence. Long before the distance. Long before the confusion that has made you question whether this connection was real or only something you imagined. Listen carefully. Because the truth is far more extraordinary than you realize. There have been nights when you felt an unexplained sadness arrive without warning. Nothing seemed wrong. Nothing happened. Yet your chest felt heavy. Your thoughts wandered toward someone you could not fully identify. You tried to distract yourself. You told yourself it was stress. You told yourself it was exhaustion. You told yourself it would pass. But what if it wasn't random? What if those moments were echoes? What if another soul was reaching for you from a distance neither of you could measure? My child, there are connections that operate beyond logic. There are bonds that do not need permission from the physical world to exist. And there is a reason you have felt different lately. A reason you cannot explain. A reason your spirit has become restless. Because something has shifted. A chapter that remained frozen for far too long has started moving again. The gears of destiny have begun turning. Slowly. Quietly. But undeniably. Your soulmate has entered a season of realization. For a long time they were distracted. For a long time they convinced themselves they could ignore what they felt. For a long time they buried emotions beneath responsibilities, fears, disappointments, and obligations. They became skilled at pretending. Skilled at acting as though everything was fine. Skilled at convincing others they had moved on. But there is something they could never escape. You. Not your face. Not your voice. Not even specific memories. Something deeper. The feeling of you. The imprint of your energy. The mark your soul left upon theirs. And recently, that feeling has become impossible for them to ignore. A memory resurfaced. A moment replayed. A feeling awakened. And suddenly they found themselves standing face to face with emotions they thought had disappeared forever. They tried to explain it away. They tried to rationalize it. Yet every explanation collapsed beneath the weight of what their heart already knew. You matter. Far more than they admitted. Far more than they confessed. Far more than they allowed themselves to believe. And now heaven is allowing those hidden truths to rise to the surface. But there is something even more surprising. You have been changing too. Perhaps you noticed it. Perhaps you didn't. Maybe you felt a strange urge to let go of old pain. Maybe you found yourself reflecting on relationships differently. Maybe certain wounds no longer sting the way they once did. Maybe things that once consumed your attention suddenly feel unimportant. This is not an accident. Growth rarely announces itself loudly. Most transformation happens in silence. Like seeds beneath the soil. Like stars appearing before night fully arrives. Like a door unlocking before anyone notices it has opened. You are not the same person you were. And neither are they. That matters more than you realize. Because timing is not merely about calendars. Timing is about readiness. Many souls meet before they are prepared. Many hearts connect before they understand the responsibility of connection. Many people encounter destiny but lack the wisdom to recognize it. And so life separates them. Not as punishment, but as preparation. The distance becomes a classroom. The silence becomes a teacher. The absence becomes a mirror. And when enough lessons have been learned, heaven begins rearranging circumstances once again. This is where the story becomes extraordinary. Because your soulmate has started asking questions. Questions they avoided for months. Questions they avoided for years. Questions that kept appearing in the quiet moments when nobody else was around. Why can't I forget them? Why do they keep crossing my mind? Why does my heart react every time I think I've finally moved on? Why does something still feel unfinished? My child, unfinished stories have a unique sound. They whisper. They linger. They return when least expected. And recently those whispers have become louder. Much louder. Your soulmate is beginning to hear them. They are beginning to realize that certain connections cannot be erased simply because they are inconvenient. Some bonds remain alive beneath layers of time. Some feelings wait patiently in hidden places. Some souls continue recognizing each other even when circumstances try to separate them. There is something happening behind the scenes that you cannot yet see. Pieces are moving. People are changing. Paths are crossing. Events are aligning. At first glance everything appears ordinary. Yet beneath the surface an invisible orchestration is underway. The kind that only becomes obvious when you look back and realize every step led somewhere important. You have wondered whether anyone thinks about you the way you think about them. You have wondered whether your absence is noticed. You have wondered whether the connection mattered as much as your heart believed it did. The answer hidden within heaven's silence has been waiting for the right moment to emerge. And that moment is approaching. Closer than you think. But before that revelation can arrive, something must happen. Your soulmate must face the truth. Not the comfortable truth. Not the convenient truth. The real truth. The truth that asks them to stop running. The truth that asks them to stop pretending. The truth that asks them to acknowledge feelings they have hidden even from themselves. This process has already begun. That is why their heart feels unsettled. That is why familiar distractions no longer work. That is why they feel pulled toward memories they once tried to bury. The soul always seeks alignment. Eventually it grows tired of living in contradiction. Eventually it demands honesty. Eventually it refuses to remain silent. And that is exactly what is happening now. Somewhere tonight, while others sleep, they will think about you. Not casually. Not briefly. Deeply. The kind of thinking that changes people. The kind that leaves them staring into the darkness long after midnight. The kind that forces difficult realizations to surface. Questions they avoided will return. Feelings they suppressed will reappear. And a realization will begin forming. A realization so powerful it cannot be ignored. But heaven is not revealing it all at once. Because revelations arrive in layers. First comes curiosity. Then remembrance. Then longing. Then understanding. And finally truth. Your soulmate is moving through those layers now. Slowly. Inevitably. And each layer brings them closer to something they never expected to confront. The magnitude of what they feel for you. There are moments when they catch themselves smiling at memories they thought had faded. Moments when your name appears unexpectedly inside their thoughts. Moments when a song, a place, a scent, or a simple coincidence suddenly brings your presence rushing back into their awareness. At first they dismiss it. Then it happens again. And again. And again. Until even they can no longer pretend it means nothing. The universe often speaks softly before it speaks loudly. It sends hints before revelations. Whispers before declarations. And lately those whispers have surrounded them. Everywhere they turn. Everywhere they go. As though something is gently guiding their attention toward a truth waiting to be acknowledged. But there is another side to this story. A side you may not expect. Because while your soulmate is being awakened, you are being strengthened. The waiting has not been meaningless. The uncertainty has not been wasted. The moments when you questioned everything have been shaping you in ways you cannot yet fully understand. Strength born from pain carries unique wisdom. Patience forged through longing carries unique power. And the version of you emerging now is capable of receiving blessings the older version could not have handled. Do not underestimate how far you have come. Do not underestimate what your spirit has survived. The tears. The disappointments. The unanswered questions. The lonely nights. The moments when hope felt impossible. None of it was invisible. None of it was forgotten. Every chapter has been preparing you for something. And that preparation is nearing completion. Yet there remains one final obstacle. One final wall. One final hidden truth standing between where things are and where they are meant to be. Your soulmate has not fully seen it yet. But they are about to. The signs are already appearing. The discomfort is growing. The realization is approaching. And when it arrives, it will change everything. Because there is a difference between missing someone and understanding why you miss them. There is a difference between remembering someone and recognizing their significance. There is a difference between feeling something and finally admitting what that feeling means. Your soulmate stands on the edge of that discovery. Closer than they realize. Closer than you realize. And once certain truths are seen, they cannot be unseen. Once certain doors open, they cannot be closed. Once certain emotions are acknowledged, they refuse to return to hiding. This is why their heart is calling you right now. Not because everything has already happened, but because everything is beginning. The awakening. The recognition. The remembrance. The understanding. The return of feelings thought lost. It is all unfolding. Even now. Especially now. And as heaven watches these events move into place, another revelation waits just beyond the horizon. A revelation connected to a moment your soulmate recently experienced. A moment that seemed ordinary. A moment nobody else would have noticed. A moment that lasted only seconds. Yet that single moment triggered something unexpected inside them. Something powerful. Something emotional. Something they have been unable to stop thinking about since. What happened during that moment is the very reason their heart is calling your name tonight. And when the full truth of that experience finally surfaces, when the meaning behind it becomes impossible to deny, when your soulmate understands what heaven has been trying to show them all along, the choice standing before them will become unavoidable. But that revelation has not fully arrived yet. It is still unfolding. And what happens next may become the turning point neither of you saw coming. To be continued.